Like that was good.
Like you're running through a jungle.
Yeah, like it's like no, it's like the beginning of a movie, you know, where it's like that guy's voice, like, "Is your name Nicole?" And you're like, yes, it is. And like,
how'd you know? This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 61 of The Real Word.
The word is up.
It is up. And we've got 2 recalls, 2 recaps.
No, they're not. They're not recalls.
Not recalls.
We're not recalling anything. There's no recall. You're not getting anything back.
We are recapping.
We are. We're going to do like a follow-up because lots of interesting things have happened this week.
Absolutely. So we're going to follow up. Right off of last week's show, the GaryVee discussion, because GaryVee himself on Sunday put out a video, put out an article recapping or redoing, I guess, his thoughts on homeownership.
He made it very clear, though. Are we rolling the video? Are we going to roll the video? Maybe we roll the video. There's a video. The
first one?
No, the video.
It's 20 minutes long. No, we're not going to roll that video.
The part of it? That part? Anyway.
Maybe.
Well, maybe we roll it.
We'll definitely link the video up. We'll link the article up.
Because I think
but he's adding to his thoughts on homeownership.
Well, he made it very clear, which is exactly what you said in our first episode, is that it was taken way out of context. He was saying that it was exactly what you were saying. He was talking about, which is
there's some wrinkles though, so it's not exactly what I.
It's interesting that he thinks, though, that young 20-year-olds have $300,000 to put down on a house. I was like, I don't even think I have $300,000 to put down on a house now, and I'm almost 40.
Here's where he got a little confused. Yeah, the 20 or 30-year-olds that are in Silicon Valley that are, you know, that he's connected to, that are creating apps, that are making tons of money, maybe, right? Now, where I got a little lost, and we're going to link up the whole article and the whole video. The video, by the way, is him talking to a real estate agent. Doesn't say who, doesn't say where he's from, but this agent wrote Gary an email. Like, you know, a lot of agents just either created a video like us or spouted out on Twitter or whatever.
This guy, I think, went to Agent 2021.
This guy
they referenced that a little bit.
He was a Miami agent. He was from Miami. He went to 2021, and he's buying into Gary's deep dive, which is $10,000. So Gary owed him at least a conversation, I guess. Is maybe he doesn't owe him shit, but in his thoughts, he owed him at least a conversation. So they had a 20-minute phone conversation, which the whole video is up on his YouTube channel. We'll link that up. And they obviously recorded it. So that was interesting because it was a good discussion back and forth.
Yeah.
Where Gary lost me and where he loses me a little bit, even in his article that he wrote on his website, which we'll also link up, is that there is these 20 to 40-year-olds with the 200,000 because we had a conversation on my podcast with Brian Fay, who's a loan officer, that if you've got 200,000, just do an FHA loan and do 3.5%. And so then there you're like, okay, well, yeah, 3.5% on a $300,000 home, you're paying $10,000 to $15,000 down. So that's not a big chunk of your 200,000.
Right.
Where I agree with Gary is if you're a 20-year-old and you've got 20,000 and now you're sucking up 15,000 of that 20,000 that you have away from your business,
right,
and you're running a business, you can't do both is the point.
Yeah.
You need capital to run business. You got to be able to pay people. You got to be able to run ads. And so if you're tying that up when you could be renting, but you're just choosing to own because you want to own or whatever your reason is, you're hurting your business.
Right. Yes.
And so I agree with him there. Now, he gets into a lot of different things, even on his article. He starts talking about how student loans are going to tear down the economy. To me, that's a whole different issue on whether you should buy a house or not.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I think the problem that we're finding, though, is that people actually can't buy a house, even if they want to, because of their student loans. So 100%, that's a totally different argument.
Here's something he's absolutely right about. People can live in fancier places if they rent. 100%. you can rent something in a better location that's fancier than if you were to put down a bunch of capital and buy it and then put in the money to maintain it.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Like, think about where we are, Connecticut shoreline. If you're going to buy a waterfront home, that's more expensive to maintain.
Right. Well,
But if
anything
you
in the
rent-
Northeast is more expensive to maintain because it's at least all 40, 50 years old anyway. So you're going to be dumping a ton of money into it anyway. But it's still all very interesting because, again, I think where I have the hardest time with it is his wording, because he's talking about the American dream. And I still think that regardless, I mean, obviously you're renting, right?
I am.
And you're dumping your money into your business.
Correct.
But I still think that, like, but that doesn't mean that
And
that's.
I'm renting a fancier place than what I would probably
Yes,
get
you
if I
are
bought.
right. So all of those things are check. But in terms of like I'm certain that you still have the American dream idea in your mind. Like, eventually you do want to buy.
Well, what Gary's saying here, which I agree with, is that if you run your business right and you now have this capital to invest in ads or employees or whatever, you're going to now compound over, say, 5 years. The amount of money that you would have been able to make because you have more to invest in it, it's going to compound quicker. And so you could say and he's talking about 20 to 40-year-olds, so whatever, maybe you're doing this at 30, so that at 35, 40, you can now buy a home that's 4 times the value of the one you would have bought.
So go back up. The topic there is why the American dream is vulnerable. I don't think that the American dream is vulnerable because he's still saying that when you're 50, you're going to buy the home. That's
you're
the
saying
American dream.
The dream is still there.
The American dream is still there.
But for these entrepreneurs that maybe they're pushing the dream back.
This is just how you get to the American dream. If you want a bigger, better, faster American, like you're
rent maybe for 5 years.
Yes.
And here's
the American dream doesn't have to happen right out of college or right out of high school, right when you get married and right when you have a kid. No. But I mean, I think that's where I hiccup the most, is because he's using this word, the American dream, but he's still advocating for the American dream. And I think that that's also where the agents sort of had the biggest problem, is because we are selling the American dream. And again, he's still saying that people want the American dream. So I think it's the fact that he used American dream instead of like buying a home in your 20s. I mean, obviously it was great marketing. I mean, he's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing.
And being nimble and being able to jump in and out of rents and maybe move locations more often is not going to be for everybody. I don't care.
No, but you still have a dream. You still have a dream of owning a home. You have a dream of actually owning a flipping airplane. Like, so your American...
I have a dream of owning an airplane. Yes. That is my American dream.
So your American dream hasn't changed. Yeah. You still have that dream.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
it's just not happening now.
Yeah, I mean,
you're working towards
my
it.
dream is to have not only one home but 2 homes. I want a home in Naples, Florida, and I want a house in Connecticut, right? So
you want to own that down there? You want to own the second?
Yeah, I definitely want to own the house in Florida. Maybe I don't own the house in Connecticut, but I definitely want 2 homes, right? That is definitely 100% a dream of mine. I believe I get there faster.
And that's the American dream.
By taking a little bit of this GaryVee approach.
Yeah, so I don't...
And investing into my business. Now, what to wrap this whole thing up, what's most important is what we said in the beginning, which is context, which is why I gave GaryVee a freebie when the snippet first came out, is, okay, what's the context there? He's probably talking entrepreneurs. It's the context of each individual, because this is such an individual decision. If you're a military person and you're going to buy somewhere and you're only going to be somewhere for 3 years, you're located somewhere for 3 years, that's a conversation as real estate professionals that you and I are going to have with that person of, hey, we don't know what the market's going to look like in 3 years. You're going to pay realtor fees. It may be better for you to rent. We're going to have that conversation.
As long as you can find something to rent.
As long as you can find something to rent.
I mean, that's an issue too. I mean, if you've got 4 kids, and there you go. And then you can't just buy an apartment above like Walmart.
And then the Navy person says, well, I've got 4 kids. Listen, my wife's she's got to deal with this crap.
Yeah. And
we want to own our home. So then you go find them a home.
Right.
But you do make it clear as professionals.
Right.
The downside to owning for only 3 years. Market goes down and you got to pay realtor fees. You could swallow a lot of your equity by putting in a big down payment. So 100%. It's context to the individual's needs.
I just think
and
that the
what they're
American dream
going
is
to do.
still well and alive, and I think he's just putting a spin on that, and I don't like it.
Nicole's not giving up her dreams.
No, I mean, well, it's interesting though, because we
for the
also
American dream.
we did have a conversation in a podcast that you did for yourself, and we also talked
for the Byron Lazine podcast,
yes.
which everybody should be following.
Because we I mean, again, this is totally unrelated to, because I don't think cars are ever a good investment, but we then started getting to the discussion of, you know, do you lease or do you own your car?
And I lease. I 100% believe in
yeah.
leasing.
So at least you were sort of like consistent, but other people at the table were like, no, like I buy my car. I'm like, you're buying a car, but like you're renting a house.
Right.
Like it was all.
It's a depreciating asset. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. It was very interesting. But
all right, racket number 2 is also a recap for us. Racket number 2. We talked about this on a Real Word episode, right?
Yeah. No, yes, we did talk about the fact that Amazon was coming to, I think it was Long Island City.
So, but going back real quick to GaryVee.
Yes.
Do you think his response is a racket?
No, I think that it was important for him to. No, I think that I once you obviously said your side, it made sense. I mean, he's always spewing about entrepreneurship, and that's really what his market is. So that makes the most sense to me. Again, like I've been saying, the whole American dream.
I think he's a little bit naive on his numbers of how much people have to put down.
I mean, he was like, if a kid has 300, I'm like, if
He's
that
going
boy's got $300,000, he's actually probably not ever going to work in his life.
And he's going off of
he probably got it from his parents, and then he's just like living off of a trust fund. I mean, $300,000 at 20.
He's going off of 20% down. He even said it in that video.
Yeah, he did say
20%, which is not how people are buying homes today at the average price point. He also did say, I'll give him credit for this.
Yeah.
He said clearly, because I watched that whole 20-minute back and forth with the agent. He said, and I don't remember this, but I did watch the Agent 2021 keynote. He said that he said the same thing at Agent 2021.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't believe in buying a home necessarily for entrepreneurs. He said it at his own conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I think ultimately him coming back, clearing up the statements, not a racket to me.
Your buddy though is still enjoying all the videos. Steve.
Who's that?
Steve. Isn't his name Steve?
I'm not sure.
Steve.
Which one?
Hardy.
Steve Harney. Yes.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He keeps making his videos.
Anyways, racket number 2. It's devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Agents react to Amazon abandoning New York. What's your thoughts on Amazon bailing on New York? Is it a racket?
I think it's sad. I feel
You think it's sad?
bad. I feel bad. Well, what's interesting though, because our governor over here in Connecticut reached out like, hey, if New York doesn't want you, we do.
Oh, beg and plead. Take them any way you can
like,
get them.
No, we're just gonna stay in our one spot. I'm sad. I mean, again, I have this other article.
Most of the agents are saying this is bad.
Well, right. I mean, well, it's interesting because it actually reminds me of. So I just started watching this show, A Million Little Things. And
Never heard of it.
No, you don't need to. It's on after Grey's Anatomy on Thursday nights. It's actually
Never heard of that.
I'm really enjoying it. So there's a gentleman. He commits suicide, and it turns out that he bought a piece of property because there was supposed to be a train stop was coming to the city.
Okay.
And he bought it like he pretty much mortgaged his whole life
on
to buy it.
speculation.
Right.
Okay.
And it was supposed to like quadruple
And
his.
you feel bad for him?
No, it reminded me of that very much so, because I feel like there were probably lots of people that were really thinking that this was going to be the moment.
Yeah, listen
for
listen to
for
this. So
town.
in that neighborhood, Long Island City, in that area, data shows that from November 6, 2017 to February 4th, 2018, there were a total of 40 condo contracts signed in the area. So that's an average of 3 per week.
Now, I wonder if those were Amazon employees.
Listen, Nicole.
Yeah.
From 17 to February 4th, 2018, November to 3 a week.
Yeah.
During roughly the same period in 2018 and 2019, which corresponds with Amazon's announcement, there was a total of 130 condo contracts, or 10 per week. So there was a lot of people investing in that area, yes, to your point, that were speculating on Amazon coming to the area, right? And undoubtedly, there's brokers here that they interviewed in the article. We'll post the article that have said, yeah, there's no doubt this area, this neighborhood is going to take a hit. Now, it's not going to probably take a hit long term. There's still a lot of value along Island City. But in the short term, in the next 12 months, numbers are going to go down.
Oh, for sure.
People are going to back out of these contracts,
too. Well, they have to. I mean, you don't have anything. What are you buying for at that point?
They were anticipating 25,000 to 40,000 Amazon employees. So what's the government official that made these comments?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, she has been very vocal.
What is she again?
She's a congresswoman. She's been very vocal on not wanting this in her city. She does not think it's going to bring good jobs. She doesn't think it's going to bring well-paying jobs. She thinks it's just going to continue to make
Read off some of the
richer.
crazy shit she was saying.
Oh gosh, stop. Really? You're going to do that to me right now?
You can't find it?
Oh, Lord. Well,
here's what I'll say about the politicians that are sticking their egos, and this is what I see this as, sticking their egos into business decisions that are good for their states. They are, what's that phrase? You slice off your nose.
Despite your
face. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
These politicians are letting their egos get in the way of what's good for their state. It's so funny that this news broke last week, and then Charlie Munger, the Berkshire Hathaway #2 to Warren Buffett, he came out on a one-on-one interview and says California, Connecticut, and if you read further, it's not in the headline, but if you read further, he puts New York in that category, have been stupid for driving rich people away. You could say the same thing about Ms. Cortez.
Well, she's
stupid for driving 25,000 to 40,000 jobs away.
Yeah.
There are states, there are towns, there are cities in this country that are dying for 25,000 to 40,000 jobs. I don't give a crap what the jobs report says. Oh, we got all the jobs filled in this country. There are a lot of cities in this country that need jobs. Connecticut's one of those states. We need jobs. We would love to have Amazon bring 25. We're losing population in this state the last 3 years, year over year. You don't think we could use 25 to 40,000 Amazon jobs? This is ignorant of her. It's just, as Charlie Munger, #2 of Berkshire Hathaway, would say, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
You are stupid, Congresswoman. Read what she said.
Come for me all you want, but my job is to make sure the people are protected in society. Someone's got to look out for the people our system is leaving behind, especially now when most of the wealth created is going to fewer people. Those left behind are the majority of Americans. I feel like Amazon leaving is leaving all your people behind.
These 25,000 to 40,000 jobs fit the category of people that aren't the rich, right?
Right.
These are good paying jobs.
It's an opportunity. I mean, there's a wonderful opportunity there for these people to start and then build up. Or, I mean, I think there's opportunity too, unfortunately, that you lost for like your small business owners. I mean, there's probably a flower shop on that corner.
Your real estate development.
Or a deli across the street that, needs to feed these people. I mean, there's so many. Or like your Uber drivers were like,
everybody's
woo-woo.
impacted.
I mean, it's just...
Because
so
this congresswoman, amongst other New York politicians, had egos so big that they weren't willing to give up incentives to a company like Amazon. Listen, Amazon's going to be bigger than the government someday. They're taking over. You're not going to give them incentives? Come on.
And what's really unfortunate now, too, is that they're only going to be opening up that one location. So, I mean, I can't imagine that they're going to now have 50,000 employees in that one spot. So, I mean, it was sort of a loss, I feel like, for a lot of opportunity. But I'm just again, I'm an outsider looking in.
It's overwhelming. You can read through all these agents. Lawrence Hakimi, a Compass agent, says he had seen some local opposition to Amazon among people who were only concerned they were going to get priced out of the neighborhood. The neighborhood was going to do so well with this that the only concern he had was there was a few people that were going to get priced out of the neighborhood.
Well, they were also worried, I think, because it was going to be really busy. But I'd like to think, though, too, that there's going to come a time where those roads are going to need to be repaired. And this is actually their opportunity to be able to afford to, really sort of kick up your infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, again, our state's now going to be throwing tolls out. So we're now getting double, triple taxed just to fix our roads. You're going to
end up, and to Charlie Munger's point here about California, New York, Connecticut, these states that continue to say we don't need any business. We're not pro-business. You're going to see what happens. You've already seen it. Where's the population trends going? To the south in this country. It's happening. It's happened. Unless you really want to invite. People need businesses, places to work to stay in a state.
Right.
Period. End of story.
And they need businesses in order for small businesses to open up around those businesses. I mean, just like everyone supports everyone, you know? But
all right. Racket number 3. So let's recap there. That was a total racket. New York, you total racket. You guys are Miss Cortez, Congresswoman. You're a complete idiot. And hopefully you do better with the rest of your term.
Wow.
Racket number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at Keller Williams would-be Zillow-killer. So what they've done, and they announced it on Sunday at Family Reunion down in New Orleans, they've got a new consumer-facing app that's going to be the Zillow-killer.
The Zillow-killer. I mean, that's bold.
So what is the app? All right, it gives you, the consumer, rather, the ability to plug their home in, to look at comps, to look at price per square foot comparisons, finish comparisons, put some data in, get some data back on what they should be comparing their home to in a sale or in a purchase.
Also, if you're a buyer, you can put in your criteria and it will spit out homes that fit your criteria, which is where I have the hardest time. That's where I hiccup as a buyer's agent.
It's an algorithm that's saying, hey, you should be looking at these ones because you're interested in this one. It's just,
I feel like there's so many times, I would say probably 75% of the time, I have clients that say that they have to have a 4-bedroom, and every time they buy a 3-bedroom. So they're actually, like, in my mind, like, there still needs to be bodies in front of these people because missing out on so much. But I think it sounds like heaven. I mean,
of course,
the whole app sounds like heaven. It sounds beautiful. I can't imagine it's going to be a Zillow-killer, but
HomeSnap made themselves sound like heaven.
Oh, see, I didn't.
They made it sound like that when they came out.
Well, I think what made you feel like it was heaven was because it was branded to you. So, like, you had your clients download your HomeSnap app, and
this can be branded.
It can be
individually branded to each agent and consumer. It'll be launching sometime toward the end of the second quarter in 2019.
I think that's just there just to make their agents happy, because I think the bigger portion here is.
Yeah, I don't see, unless they push a ton of money into like TV ads and social media ads, I don't see a lot of people that aren't connected to a Keller Williams agent just jumping on this app.
No.
Unless it just becomes so good like Zillow did, where everybody has to use it. But even Zillow, I mean, and you can debate on whether how good that app is, but Zillow put a lot of money behind ads, right, to get awareness up, and Google ads especially, to get people on there. To me, should Keller Williams do this? They probably should.
I think it's
just
great.
as every other broker should.
Sure.
But you are now just trying to make a mousetrap a little bit better than Zillow, as opposed to making a better mousetrap, right? You don't think Zillow is going to make their Zestimate even better over the next year? You don't think that they're going to let you come in there and comp your house out? So you're playing on the same level, the same playing field as Zillow, which I think they've already won. That's one thing I agree with GaryVee. If you go back and watch his Agent 2021 keynote, he'll tell you Zillow's already won, guys. It's over.
Right.
Now build your brand as agents so that you have a chance of sticking around.
Right.
And I agree with him. Zillow has already won. And so to me, I don't know that Keller Williams' consumer-facing app is going to be that successful, because I think Zillow's already that much ahead of them.
Right.
And then if they do something really smart, creative, innovative, Zillow will just take that feature.
Oh, of course. Of course.
We'll just take it.
Of course. Of course.
So
sort of like that. Remember like not long ago, there was like that great app that was supposed to just revolutionize. Do you remember that app?
That will change. We actually took a very difficult flight out to Arizona for that app. Now, if you go all the way back to the first 2 episodes of The Real Word, you'll know which app we're talking about, because I can promise you this: you've never downloaded the app, you've never heard of it, unless have you watched this show, all 61 episodes.
I mean, we were stopping Zillow with that app.
Go look up some of the videos from the person that launched that app on how significant of a change for the industry this was going to be.
It was, even when we were sitting there, I remember just feeling like, thank God I got a good massage today, because at least this trip was worth it for that.
Apps don't change the industry, but I mean, I guess that's a wrong statement, right? Like Zillow certainly did change the industry.
The information given, it was really the information that was finally being given that changed it. Is Zillow just finally started giving the consumer the information that they've always wanted. That's all that it was. It wasn't the name. It wasn't the app. It was just Zillow was the first place to give them the information. And that's what Keller Williams is saying. They're like, oh, you know, it makes them feel like they're smarter. Your app is going to, like you're saying, is going to be no different. Maybe it's going to be prettier and a little bit easier to use, but people are already getting the information. They know what their neighbor's house sold for. They know what, you know, Joe Schmo down the road.
I think that's going to get better. I think, and that's where I think buyer agents have some vulnerability over the next 10 years, is that buyers truly are going to have so much data of these sales.
They're like, hey, Nicole, can I see this house? It's in pre-foreclosure. And I'm like, no, actually you can't, because the person still lives there. I mean, it's, if anything, it at least, it just like, I mean, if anything, it at least has people reaching out to you, and like you're then able to educate them if you know what you're talking about. But I mean, I think it's great though. I mean, I think that it's a fabulous feature for Keller Williams agents. I mean, Keller Williams, I will give them a high five. They do always seem to be sort of on the cutting edge, thinking.
And Keller Williams' goal with this, to their credit, what's not a racket and what every brokerage should be doing, their eye towards making this is that their agents will be the Netflix of real estate. That to me makes a lot of sense. But the headline, and this could be an Inman headline. The Zillow-killer. The Zillow-killer, that's a total racket.
Total racket. I was going to say that. I was going to say the headline's a racket. I mean, the whole thing is beautiful and great, and congratulations to all your Keller Williams agents. I think you guys are going to have a beautiful platform, as long as you use it. I mean,
that's a great point, because only 10% of agents use the tools that their broker
It's interesting
provides.
Because I'll be honest. I mean, William Raveis has an app. We have a website. I mean, if I can't get onto MLS, I'm Googling a listing and I'm just clicking the first link, to be honest. Right.
And Nicole, it speaks for the nation of real estate agents. By the way, because that's most agents do the same thing.
Or your client is sending you the Zillow link, so you're clicking the link. I mean, but anyway. So I think this was a good show.
Yeah, I'd love your thoughts on the GaryVee recap, you know, circling back and readdressing his thoughts.
I actually also would love to hear from some people that live around Long Island City and see what is happening. Are you panicking? Are you comfortable? I mean, because I feel like you said the word speculation, and I don't feel like it was I mean, they virtually committed.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, until it's done, it's not done, but
100%. So, I mean, I'm just hopeful that they're able to rebound, because again, they were talking November to February, right? I mean, so you're talking about like a 4-month spurt. So hopefully, you know, obviously nothing was luckily Amazon didn't come in, set up shop, and then abandon. I mean, that would have probably been even worse, because then you just now have, you know, just like Ghost City.
And if you're a Keller Williams agent, I'd love for you to chime in the comments whether you think this is a Zillow-killer.
Zillow-killer.
Hashtag Zillow-killer, yes or no.
Hashtag. Look at you.
Yeah, do a little hashtag in the comments.
Hashtag. And then hashtag Nicole White, because it's a better hashtag than Byron Lazine.
Because she has somebody impostering on her hashtag.
So funny.
All right, guys, keep it real. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.